Grace and peace. Welcome to Hip Hop History, the channel that takes a deeper look at the origins and the elements of hip hop culture. Don't forget to check us out on all of our social media platforms. On Facebook at Urban Exegesis, on Instagram, TikTok, and our other YouTube channel, they can be found at Urban Exegesis Studios. Please consider joining and becoming a member of the Hip Hop History family. You can find the link to channel membership in the description. Channel members get exclusive video content and exclusive members-only live streams. Don't forget to hit the like, the share, and the subscribe button, and smash that notification bell so you can get all the latest videos as they become available. Thank you for tuning in. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
We did the first shows and set the foundation what has become an industry now, and we ain't getting no love. Why is that?
It's important to understand that what Legs is talking about is B-boys. He's talking about breaking. He's not talking about Puerto Ricans. He's talking about the B-boy culture that is the foundation of hip-hop's culture. It is beyond the shadow of a doubt breaking.
Breaking goes back, as far as I know, talking to founders of the dance, no later than 73. And these are breakers who used to break mainly on top.
So now we hear from track 2, right? And track 2 says that when he talked to who he considered at that time founders of the dance, they were saying no later than 73. And then he said that breaking was only on top. Now, again, this is what he was told. And again, in the exclusive interview that he does with Willie Estrada, he makes it clear that as he began to do further investigation, he realized that a lot of the things that he was taught was not accurate.
B-boying on the floor didn't come out to like maybe the ending of 74, 75, where people actually started going down and breaking on the floor.
I don't know who did it, but eventually somebody went down and stayed down.
So from up rocking, I brought it to the floor. You know, that's why I was so good, because I was, from there on, it just kept going and kept going. Bruce and them brought it out to the Bronx River. Before you know it, there was Zulu Kings. Word up.
So now you hear track 2 say that B-boying didn't hit the floor till late 74, 75. And then they show B-boy Spy, right? And he goes to the floor, right? Top rock to down rock. And then you hear Grand Mixer DXT he says these words. We don't know who took it to the floor. I'm paraphrasing. But somebody took it to the floor and never came back up. We don't know who did that.
It was really a combination of sweeps, CCs, which is the side-to-side movements when you're facing front, and steps like the Russian, which look exactly like a Russian. You cross your arms and you kick front. The steps were a lot more basic, and it looked a lot more. If there's a b-boy out there that I would compare old style to, the real old style is Frosty Freeze. When you see Frosty in like Flash Dance and old footage of him, and sometimes he still does it today, when you see his footwork, it doesn't look complete. That looked more like what the original b-boys looked like back in the days.
They used to do a style that I hardly see anyone do, which is more like jerky type of, it wasn't like a six-step, you know, this is how it goes. It was a little more sporadic and wild spirit, like boom, whip, freezing, blah, blah, you know what I'm saying?
And then with the godfather hip hop, myself, Africa Bambaataa, you have what you call the Zulu Kings.
So we can see that they start talking about this real sporadic style that was out, that Pop Master Fable says, you know, it was like bam, 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 real sporadic. And they said the closest B-boy that you would see doing that style was somebody like Frosty Freeze. But then you see Little Boy Keith, you know, by the water doing that style, right? Then you hear Africa Bambaataa talk about the Zulu Kings. But let's get that story a little bit straight. Right? So the original 11 Zulu Kings, where Charlie Rock is part of that, right? That's not the Zulu Kings that they're talking about. They're talking about the Zulu Kings after, really the baby Zulus with Beaver. The original 11 Zulu Kings were not them. Okay? So here's a little bit of that background.
What I am telling you is that in 1973, we were still Black Spades. We were very much still Black Spades. And the Bronx River Organization, which is the predecessor to the Zulu Kings and the Zulu Nation, didn't begin, and this is by Bambaataa's own words, did not begin until the death of Solsky, Ronald Beckel, who was president of the 10th Division from Bronx River. He was killed by the police along with a number of the Black Spades, as well as a member who was our president, who was also shot in the same encounter, but survived. He was the only survivor. That occurred January 7th, 1975. Okay, so just by that, and by what Bama said and what anyone else has said, the Zulu Nation could not be in existence in 1973. So that's not to refute or anything. I'm just telling you what the chronological timeline just doesn't support that. Okay, and we were still Black Spades in 1973. And I would say the Zulu Kings, which actually precedes the Zulu Nation, because the Zulu Kings came, the Zulu Nation kind of came and resulted as a popularity because of the popularity of the Zulu King. So late 75, maybe early 76, all right? The Bronx River Organization definitely could not have started until 1975 because it starts upon the death of Solsky.
The organization that later became known as the Zulu Nation does not begin until after the death of Solsky in 1975. It is late 75, 76 that the Zulu Kings are formed. And it's not the baby Zulu Kings with Beaver. It's the original. It's the first 5, then it's the original 11, and then later it's the baby Zulus. So keep this in mind when we're talking about these styles that you're going to hear is referred to as the Moreno Style. Okay, we're going to put this in its context. There's a certain style that's being done by these particular Zulu Kings, right? This is the real sporadic style of b-boying. Okay, and then somebody said, well, that's the original style of b-boying. Well, we're going to actually see if that's really the case.
I grew up watching more like the Zulu Kings, Beaver. Beaver was like the biggest name in b-boying, period. I mean, you couldn't find nobody better than Beaver until Spy came along and blasted him with Track 2 and them brothers.
I know for a fact that when I went to some parts, it was rare to see a Puerto Rican dancer.
Notice what JoJo says. I know for a fact that when I went to some parties, to some parts, to where? To some parts, it was rare to see a Puerto Rican dancing. To some. Not everywhere, to some. Let's keep going.
A lot of people used to call it like, yo, you know, like the Latinos, you know, Moreno means black, you know, they be like, yo, that's that Moreno style, you know, and that's the original style of b-boying.
Notice what Leg says. He says a lot of people used to call it, yo, that's that Moreno style, and that's the original style of b-boying. He's not saying he called it that. He's saying a lot of people. Who are these people? That's what I want to know. Who were these people? Because I'm saying this for a reason. When I first saw breaking in 75, at its beginning, we called it breaking. I saw Black and Puerto Rican b-boys, and I never heard the term, that's that Moreno style. I never heard that. When it was said, they're referring to the Zulu King style. But notice what Leg says. A lot of people. So who are these people? Was this among the breaking community in the 70s that separated these styles and said that what he's not saying is that the first B-boys were black. He's saying that the original style that some people said was the Moreno style. It was the Moreno means black. So let's not put words in his mouth. Let's listen to what is being said. Okay? That's the original style of b-boying. All right, check this out now. Now let's go deeper. Let's go deeper. If the original style of b-boying is the Moreno style, which is that sporadic style, let's take a look at something else.
Swipes in the air that you see legs do. That was originated by my partner, Spy, who I consider the best breaker I have ever seen break. That's undisputable. I mean, whoever knows breaking, that name has to come up.
So Spy comes up. Look at the style that Spy is doing. Look at that style. That's not the sporadic style. But you say, but they brought that in later. That's a different style. Listen to this next statement.
He's one of the first B-boys ever. And he was known as the man with 1,000 moves.
So the one thing that people love to do with this documentary is take bits and pieces. It's like when you're reading the Bible and you take a verse out of its context and try to put it somewhere it don't fit. That's what people do with this documentary. They take statements out of their context to put it somewhere else. And they say, look at what Legs said here. It's the Moreno style. Therefore, Legs is saying that black kids are the original B-boys. They're the first ones who did it. But look at what Legs says in this statement. He introduces Spy and he says, this is one of the original B-boys, one of the first B-boys ever. What does he say?
He's one of the first B-boys ever.
This is one of the first B-boys ever. If he's one of the first, there are other people within that first class. He's one of the first B-boys ever. Batch is also in that first class. And black B-boys are also in that first class. You understand? So I find it funny how people will never take this clip where Legs says, this is one of the first B-boys ever. They won't use that clip. But you can't ignore that clip. Because Spy, a Puerto Rican, is one of the first B-boys ever. And his style is not the sporadic style. Again, what I saw was black and Puerto Rican B-boys. And they were both breaking. But there was a sporadic style that wasn't complete. And then there was the style that other B-boys were doing. And Spy being one of the first B-boys ever. Let that sink in.
And his name is Spy, so I want to bring him up here so y'all can see what he... Come up here, man.
Spy was a legend to me because he was already called man with 1,000 moves. I used to always go to mom and pop's social club or nightclub, whatever you want to call it. It was a basement, really, on Crotona Avenue, and I used to go there a lot to try to see Spy. And then one day I saw Spy there, and I saw him. I'll never forget. He had this red hat on, and his afro was just like poofing right out the side. His hat was to the side, just like this. And that's why whenever I go down right now, whenever I start breaking, I got a hat on, you know, this is just like straight Spy. This is the Spy in me, you know what I mean?
When they would tell me stories about Spy, I would look in the sky and be like,
trying to picture myself with it, trying to put myself there, you know, like in the gymnasium, in the church. And when I saw him break, I was like, wow, you know. It's just like this energy around a person, you know what I'm saying? There's an energy around people that, you know, the stories are the stories. There's a reason why they're being said. There was an energy around him. He was mad clean and mad smooth. It was just like he didn't have to do anything really incredible. He did whatever he did, it looked sweet.
Track 2 was like little ladies' man back then.
You know, track 2, at one point they said he was the best.
JoJo and them used to be off the hook, for real. They used to be like traveling. They was like gypsies in a way, because they used to find out wherever they jamming at, go there, and whoever was dancing over there, they would knock them off, for real.
Them boys were just so incredible. They were like stars coming out. These brothers would come out dressed, you know, not like bums like a b-boy was. Usually all bummy dressed. These guys would be dressed nice, and boom, they'd come out and they were like stars. Yo, there goes JoJo, there goes Spy, there goes Jimmy D. There goes all of this track 2 right there with his big old track nameplate. Those are the brothers that made up the moves. All the moves that you see nowadays come from the root of those people.
We end with the most powerful statement from Mr. Freeze, Rocksteady crew. He said, those are the brothers, I'm paraphrasing that, created those moves. All of the moves that you see come from the root of those people. What people? The people that he just finished mentioning. The Puerto Rican, the New Yorican B-boys. So make no mistake, as you want to dig and pick different parts out of this documentary, I encourage you to really think about what is being said and what is not being said.